Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 47 of Illium, our modded Cities 1 build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. In the last few episodes, the Eastern Bay has seen a ton of developments with brand new towns, waterfronts, factories, industrial ports, and a Formula 1 circuit. Really turned into one of my favourite areas of the city, this district. However, I've been promising it for a while. Today's episode, we're going to fly right across the other side of Illium, all the way back over to Sapphire Marina, a build we did many episodes ago, to develop an old historical country estate using the Seaside Resorts DLC, as we can finally start exploring the ocean coastlines. But happy Monday to you all, and welcome back to Illium, everyone. So welcome to the ocean coastlines of Illium for the first time. This is where we'll be working today, but before we get started with the build, I think the ferry network certainly warrants an expansion here. So we'll stick one here. We'll definitely use that today. And then I think it makes sense for Thomas Sands and Sapphire Marina to have a stop, really, doesn't it? And if I place it there, is there a possible fusing I can explore with the monorail station, I wonder? I'm going to try this. It might look a little bit janky, but I might just be able to straight up hide the road. It is, of course, going to want a connection. I suppose I could just use pedestrian pathway for it, which does give us the need of pedestrian area. But if I did that as road, and if I can shift the right node without really disturbing the rest of the network, it'll make it look like that. But that sort of works, doesn't it? It just looks like it's open there. I think I can work with that. I think I can decorate it. Now let's add in the ferry networks. So, sail around the coastline, avoiding the main cruise ships. Right, and then come and hang out there. What I'm going to do here is just rework that line to join that stop instead. There we go. Now they're not going to clash with each other. And then we'll start a new line so that they won't clash arriving at the same dock, if you like. And then this one will go over Sapphire Marina. And then we can put that in there. So let's get these flowing. We'll have that one there. Stop in here. Over there. And then back again. I'm really interested to see just how much use that's going to get. Because are they going to prefer to cross the landmass via transit? Or are they going to take the water? Who knows? But everyone's happy there. A little bit of detail in here in the time-lapse will tidy up that. I might actually even be able to intersection mark that road. Yeah, we can. So let's draw two solid lines. And then we'll change this to a decal. And if we just went for asphalt cracked as an example. Yeah, it sort of works. It does leave a little bit of road exposed, but more decals can do that. And we'll also ban parking on this so we don't get those silly little cars just hanging out there. Either way, I think everyone's happy to see an expansion of the ferry network, aren't they? Sweet, so let's go into today's build. Let's get this area set up with a road connection. So we're using a series of roundabouts down this corporate system, which I think I'm going to continue doing. So let's grab local nodes. I'm just going to pull them out so it opens up the middle. I'll sort out the harsher turns once we're happy with the configuration. We'll do that one there. And then the same thing here. We can also have some turning lane police here as well. I'll have 2 lanes on the approach into the turn. And then our country estate today, which is definitely serving as a little bit of a historical institution, can emanate from that road. And I pretty much want no parking on the road here. So we'll do a lot of stuff with dirt roads. So we'll start drawing these out. And let's upgrade our tree into something a touch fancier. Let's go for date palms through here. Now I certainly want a building that's sat at the front of the road, so we'll grab that first. Again, you can get the Seaside Resorts DLC down below at Instant Gaming. It does help me directly support the channel. But I just want a building in here right now so I can figure out exactly how I want this to come down. Now we can use Network Multi-Tool to unlock these segments. I mentioned it before. I tend to avoid doing this because I've had issues happen at the station I've replaced networks on before, especially with ferries. But I'm going to do it here. And then we can bring that down along the side. And you can almost make this look as though this ferry stop, you know, was an old sort of coastal outbuilding. for this estate. It's been repurposed into a ferry stop. So I'll have that there. I'm also going to sink it down a little bit too. And then we've also got some roads here that are daring to go over the hill. Just thinking where I could send these. Maybe as a crossover here as a local mountain road. I think we'll explore that. We won't be building that far into the peninsula today. But I think it's a road that's going to exist at some point. We got this big mountain road flowing through. Just want to change a few things on it. So let's grab all the nodes of the bridge and set these to a uniform height. And then we'll use a few instances of multi-slope. So from here down to here. And then I'm going to do the same pretty much all the way down here. Brings us to a 3.8% gradient. And I'll slope this one as well. 9.9, so it will slightly deform the terrain, but that's very easily fixed with a little bit of soften. And this will be a really fun road to detail one day. But we can do a little bit of it now because we have the fence on road functionality these days. So timeless country visual for me is mountain road bordered by nature reserve fencing. And we might use this as access up onto the plateau one day, although it's kind of hard from this site though. But it gives us a local road that's functioning separately from the national road anyway, so I think it's still worth it. And we'll get this fence all the way along this road. And we'll also use multi-tools curve mode just to connect these bits back in. Great, so that gives us a much better looking road networks around here now. And most importantly, access into today's build. Here's the ferries. There'll be no one here yet, obviously. Anyone fancy it though? No. It would appear not. But the people on the beach are walking through the ferry stop. I'll have to fix that. I forgot there was an invisible pathway there. And then back over at the other one. Yeah, I can see there's been a pretty quiet line, to be honest. But we'll see. I've said that about most of the ferry lines, I think, and they've probably turned into the busiest form of transit in the city. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But so either way, let's get stuck into some old historical estate detailing here on the wonderful coast of Illium by Sapphire Marina. So here's all the seaside resort unit buildings, arranged mostly by the colour of the roof is tend to how I partner these things. And let's start embellishing a country estate, shall we? So let's do the red roofs first, since we've got quite a few of these assets. So we'll come off the main road, and we'll worry about final road configuration once the buildings are happy, essentially. So have this come off at an angle. So, of course, with pretty much every build I do, the positioning against local road infrastructure is always something I really like to factor in. Let's have our main red building. Then we'll start positioning these. So we've got, what, sort of 5 of them here. And fusing is absolutely on the cards. To essentially create a massive country mansion is really what I'm after here. Now if we glue the walls together, essentially the only bit of clashing I'm looking at is the fence across the porch, but that's something I can live with, to be honest. So if he's going to stay there, we need another road this way, which will probably go up and serve these big pier type buildings. Now over here we'll have this one as a smaller little outbuilding by itself. Another big one tucked into the back here, which actually looks a little high. I'm going to bring that down to the earth a little bit. And then we also have this one as well. And I think there's another relatively happy fusing there. The nodes are starting to deform from the buildings, so everyone come to the same height. Okay, I'm happy with that one there. And then this one won't work with a path connection, will it? I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Yeah, it has to be a road. And then again, this is blocking the bay for Sapphire Marina, isn't it? Maybe this one's too big here. Maybe we put this one somewhere else. I do want piers here, but I think I'll save that for another build. And then this one here can sit out on our water. I don't think I'm going to key the waterfront. Well, might do some rock walls with it. And then we need one road connection for that one, which can cut behind the back and then go up to the next bit of the estate. And then with our dirt pathways here, we can essentially just turn this whole thing into really nice walkable concrete space. We can do some splicing as well with the paths through the building. Let's also do a little one deep path roundabout here. Delete that middle segment, pull it down, but move it a little bit too. And then one of the gazebos from Part Life will work super nicely in here. And we'll find, I guess, a more historical bench. Campus is probably the go-to there, isn't it? And then maybe 4 benches each side of the gazebo. So we look something like that. And then lots of roadie hedge. Actually, lots of actual hedge here as well. Let's not do plants. We'll use props for this. I will go with long sparse hedge. We'll put this on a fence fill. Just knock it down a little bit on the spacing. And then we'll have that come right up there. And essentially now you can just have an awful lot of fun creating these little gardens, you know. Let's bring in a little fountain action here too. Then I think certainly some more of the exotic plants through here. Certainly content creator palms. And you can almost add a little bit of industry to this area as well, you know, like it was maybe an old sort of functioning plantation. It has kind of, you know, historical industrial value before the industrial evolution and factories were a thing in the city. So you can do this in vanilla as well. We did quite a similar thing to this in New York many, many years ago. But just these little gardens that can nestle into your fused complexes of seaside resort stuff, right? I think we'll have a lot of fun with this. In terms of our surface painter orientation, what angle are we at here? Yeah, it's actually not too bad. So I'm just going to draw some surface painter up to those stairways again, as if it's a well-trodden pathway. So we can probably do that on all instances of the stairs meeting up with the road too. Those tiny little details that help, you know. Fantastic. And even some park signage from a city park would probably go quite nicely. Actually, no, I'll tell you what would go nicely here. It's from the Mountain Village Pack. This little information board can function, as you know. It's old historical monuments, the house of old John McGee, wherever it was that founded this estate. Information on his home, etc. So we can start to form some really interesting ideas using, I think, what is probably the most unique, I think certainly the most themed DLC the game received. And we'll certainly have fencing here as well. Probably just farm fencing, I think. That really separates the estate. Super. So we can already see a problem arising here. Is all the parking. Really don't like this. So every dirt road we bring in, let's turn off the car parking. And further to that point, visitors here, you know, do need somewhere to park. So I think why don't we make a little visitors center? So we'll move these up, and then we'll grab ourselves a non-parking road, which has obviously been built after a fact. This isn't, of course, the historical estate. This is now mass commercialization visitor car parking. So I have a bunch of car parks here. Let's keep that fence line going on the road as well. Pretty much to there should do it. Then I'll draw that off there, just so I know this is the end of the estate, which we'll name it as well today, so we don't have to keep calling it the estate. And then let's give them a information booth and a cafe. And then we'll make this, you know, where people come and park and arrive to visit. I'm going to keep the hedge line running with the fence. Let me move these buildings over the hill and far away a little bit. I'll deal with them in a second. And then we'll fill out these spaces behind with a little bit of concrete. Get some nice detailing done there as well. And then we'll have, you know, this is where visitors are entering the estate. And then I'll switch to dirt pathway as it comes into there. Okay, so I think I like that. So I got some parking here. Sweet. So no parking, just have to remember to do that for every road that we place. Which then opens up the next development, I think, just across the street, doesn't it? Where we've got sort of this grey roof style. We'll move this just so it's connected. About there, looks good. I think I'm happy with that fusing. I think I am at risk of possibly over-fusing today, but it's something we're going to have to try and fight together, I think. Now, this one down here, these buildings are almost just kind of perfectly daisy chaining together. We'll have another one there too. Then here we can use the surface painter to kind of paint up this whole yard. Maybe we could have some sort of more industrial supplies down here. Let's filter for our industrial props. You know, just out here at the back of the building, maybe where, you know, that the tourists aren't privy to. There's just a little bunch of supplies. Some wood I think will certainly be appropriate, maybe for the maintenance of these buildings. They're still maintained with the original lumber that they were built with way back when. And then maybe a few spools of wire as well. No, so not every element of the historical estate is open to the public. And there's a little bit of gritty admin going on there. Those buildings just work so nicely together, don't they? Maybe one of the finer fusions we've ever found, that one. And plenty more space here as well to elaborate even further gardens, as we did with the red building over here. Now everyone, bear with me. My genius almost frightens me sometimes. Have we discovered a way to fuse the pier onto the ferry hub? So the pier is functioning as the hub itself. Oh, that sort of works, doesn't it? That really works. How are you emerging? Show me. Show me where you walk to, people. Oh, you know what? I think we can do that. I think we can get away with that. Okay, it's a bold move, everyone, but bear with me. So, I want this centralized with that main building. Which is the building I want at the front. Maybe, yeah, we'll use this one. We'll use this one. So let's get them aligned. I'm just going to delete that road right now. I'll worry about that later. And then ferry stop also come with me as well. And then let's bring the pier up so they're actually flush themselves. And then we'll do some sloping, which will give us the gradient for that. And then we're also going to want to very gradually slope the land between the pier and that stuff there, essentially. And then we'll soften all of that out. We're going to need to use all our might and power to make this convincing, I think, but there's definitely something here. So we'll carry on anarchying pathways through the buildings as if they're functional. And we also need a road here as well, don't we, though? Because that's going to hold the pier itself. In which case, then, I'm actually going to anarchy a road through the building, because that will hold the pier. And then I'm going to switch to pedestrian pathways, which hopefully they'll pick up, because I'd love them to enter the estate through this building. I think that could end up being one of the best bits of the build, to be honest. And then you go over there, connect with that pedestrian pathway. The ferry will whinge. There you go, all happy again though. Let's bring some light hedge work into this. See if we can give this whole little area a bit of a boundary. Oh my god, it's working. It's working. That's so cool. Honestly, I love this game. Let's get rid of the parking as well. Keeps coming back in, doesn't it? Probably just better off doing it all at the end, really. Although, will they stop driving on that once they realise there's no parking there, I wonder? They could just ban vehicles from it, I suppose. But that's perfect. That's worked out so much better than I anticipated it to. Although, not happy about the cars driving. I think that's going to stop though. Or not, they're going to carry on. They're going to carry on doing it. Yeah, it seems to calm down. Don't mind the garbage trucks still need access, I suppose. I can't ban them. Okay, I'm happy with that though. Right, let's carry on looking to fuse. I could have that there. I could actually do 2 of those. Because that sort of really changes the shape of that building there, doesn't it? with those 2 extra porches on the side. Yeah, okay, I think we'll do that. The green roof complexes are next, but I have just thought of something I would like, because this is kind of far out, and you can only really get here by water on transit. I think a little dedicated bus stop that's part of the visitors centre would be quite welcome. So we'll use pedestrian roads for this. We'll do bus only. Let's just make a little bus cube. Box that in there. And then we'll run a bus from here. So we should have spare bus hub capacity. And back in Wisela. Yes, perfect. Let's check out this station. We've not been over here for ages. 613. Metro's 313. So near enough 1,000 people coming through this hub a week now. I wonder if we can get it higher than that. But we'll certainly try today. So let's grab a bus here. And then how do you want to go down there? You want to come out this way, don't you? Okay. I don't think I'm going to get you to stop on the way. I think I'm just going to use this as a direct shuttle service. So come and stop here. And then how do you want to go home? You're going to come back down this road. Yeah, that's fine. You're just mirroring where you're going. And then we'll change that bus. There's no historical looking bus, unfortunately. So let's go for a tourist one. We'll do a super bendy. And change that to a more historical burgundy colour, maybe? Perfect. So that'll give a lot of tourists arriving here a direct route to essentially what are massive tourist drawing parks. Because these aren't, you know, functional buildings for RCI. They're essentially just parks. Would that be quite fun? We'll also get to detail a little visitors area here as well. Maybe one of the park assets will fit in there quite nicely. Park area required. Are you sure about that? You're on the road. There we go. If you move it forward a little bit, it actually likes the connection. I've never seen that before. Maybe it's reading the pedestrian road connection as the main one. And there is a very small sweet spot with it there. That's okay though, since we have new pathways wanting to come out from the bus stop now. I'm just going to delete that old hedging. And then feed it up to... Actually, do we want maybe some more car parks here? Pretty popular visitor centre vibes. We'll have that. And then we can detail this up with more concrete. Yeah, something that looks like that. So we've already got a few people even waiting for the bus, actually. Very tasty. So more transit options out here. Don't think there's anything else I want to bring. The monorail is in a closed loop here. And there's certainly no chance of bringing trains this way. It would have been nice to have the Seaside Resorts train station here. But the trains are running around the other edge of the island, so they're probably not going to make it this way. So let's begin work on our next corner. We'll start with these green buildings, which I really love this one. With all the little domes and steeples on it. We've got quite a few small green buildings. So I'll tuck that into the corner. And those porches might go quite nicely together there. And then we'll get these smaller ones. Let's bring these over here. Let's move them up right onto the corner. And then we can see where I want to feed that pathway through. That will just start constructing the next bit of the estate. And then we got 2 more little mini green buildings. I'll have this one here, which will actually sit connected quite nicely there. And then this one can come over. And I'll probably put this next door to this one, I think, to be honest. And then that leaves just the brown roof buildings over here, which I think are going to occupy this general space. Just move those brown ones over there. I might not end up using all of them. So I might trim a few off. But if we want to make a nod at some sort of old industry over here, I think kind of a road in the estate that comes off to the side, possibly to hold a park maintenance building. So I'll have this in the corner, same height as the road. So you know this building here is where the estate is maintained from. Various tools, we can do some quite fun expanded detailing around this, I think. This bit might want a little bit of a key wall, which I think I'll give it. Just a regular one should be fine. Let's come up around the edge here. And then I can open that side up on the building for some maintenance prop detailing, I suppose. Then with our brown roof buildings here, these are pretty important looking. I think we'll actually use this space just because we've got a touch more room to play with. These all tend to work very nicely with each other, don't they? This one will need a road because it's going to face this way, which I can do. I'm just going to replace the pathway for a dirt road. Let's go on the angle snap here as well. That way we can connect the building and have the pathway and walking functionality still functional. It's big country estate, old historical values, old vibes. So I think we're at a good point for a detailing time lapse now. Just going to basically do what we've done here across the whole estate to embellish each of the country estates and homes here on the old waterfront with their own gardens, attractions, and you know, reference to old working industry before the industrial evolution arrived on the billionaire estates of Illium. A few people hanging out here. Let's have a look if anyone's picking that bus up. Yeah, it's this one here. So there's already people actually taking the ferries. And how about the ferry stopover at Sapphire Marina as well? Not too many on this one. But there is a fair amount going to the estate though, so the AI is liking it. But either way, grab yourself some snacks and we'll be right back with one of the most unique Illium builds, time-lapse. Alright everyone, let's take a look around the now named Brassack House after our wonderful tier 3 patron and Discord mod. Brassack, thank you for your support, mate. Either way, we've installed elevated pedestrian pathway. Now I could have sworn I added an elevated pathway during a live stream down here when we built a marina, but it's not here. So I mustn't have done it. I was absolutely convinced they could cross on foot here. You can see how much use that's getting, of course. Because they can't walk down this road with it being highway road. I don't really want them walking this far either. There is, however, a pathway also down here plugged into the walkable road, which is attracting some traffic. Bit of a bench and fountain area as they arrive at the bottom of the bridge. And then they arrive at one of the Mountain Village DLC gates with some signage, again indicating the history and importance of the Brassack housing country estate. Down here, decided to drop in a little fishing harbour to perhaps indicate, you know, this is either, you know, maybe leased out to actual industry now, but back in the day, the estate used to receive deliveries here via the coast. We know perhaps it is functioning as part of the maintenance of the estate now. But it just felt like a really nice place to drop a layer down. Bit of industrial evolution alongside a port. And then that links us back up into the estate, where all the houses have burnt down, which is great. Fantastic news. But the story across the build is park assets from Park Life Countryside DLC. Gazebos, there is functioning park area here. Just overgrown, colourful gardens. Pathways through buildings to gazebos. Children's play areas here. Actual functional gazebos, which really helps the grounds of the house, I think, when you've got people enjoying, you know, these areas. Around the sides, again, you know, not everything here is open to the public. You know, here's a bit of gritty admin, like we described in the build. Just to say, you know, you're not allowed in here. This is where the janitors are coming down, the carpenters, the electricians that keep this place going. Which, of course, with these places, you would imagine, with them being so old, it does require a lot of that maintenance. So happy for those vibes to appear. Again, bird baths. Benches, fountains, there's a little hedge maze in here, which we can get a sense of if we enter. Again, really cool views over to the coast. Then we can walk down here, with all those houses just visible. And we can come this way, we can take a wrong turn, the hedge ends, and come out this way, and it ends again, so always really fun. Hedge mazes can pretty much go anywhere, but yeah, they're a lot of fun to play with, and I think a really nice embellishment for a country estate, right? Yeah, another dead end over here. See the ferry, very nice. So happy with that. Into the ferry stop, I think the fusing came out pretty successfully. I'm mostly happy with this. Few people waiting, of course, no way near as busy as the other side, but maybe they will one day. Because these ferries are probably going to carry on up the coast, eventually arriving at the international airport. So once that starts to fuel it, there will also be trains there though, so maybe most of the Sims will take the train. But there will be multiple ways back to downtown from the airport. Waiting some, you know, plant beds here, benches, rows of crops as if there's some, perhaps, botanical garden element to this build. Loads of detailing. Lots of surface paint to work as well. Especially up to the staircases. It looks like, you know, people are going up and down here. This brings us to the visitor centre, which now sits across our overgrown out in the country highway here, which will eventually take you up to the peninsula. I also love the nighttime views as well, because you can see the lights on this road hang around to the end of the episode for that view. Really nice. The buses are getting a little bit of use, actually. We'll wait for one to arrive. Here he comes. Here we go. We were quite busy during the episode. Yeah. So we're getting some very healthy usage. Of course, there's basically no cars coming out here. It's mostly walking or bus. And not too many people at this stop now, but maybe, yeah, a bus has just left actually, so... Yeah, nearly up to 1,000 alone in this hub now, which is very tidy. Is this actually getting more use than the downtown train station, this metro hub? Yes, it is. Isn't that interesting? I know there's a lot more bus lines coming into that other hub. But, yeah, the Weisler hub has ended up being surprisingly busy. Plus the monorail and the metro is here as well, to be fair. Well, I suppose it is at the downtown hub as well, isn't it? So it is quite comparable, I guess. Yeah, really love the scurry around here. Mega busy open town plaza with Sapphire Marina behind it. Wonderful stuff. I've not been over this part of the city for so long either. Really enjoy these little areas. Always nice to come back and see it alive as well, you know, now all the transit's in and 20 episodes has passed. Yes, back over to the estate. More of the same. Perhaps the old house of Jerry Sr., given the statues out here. Tables, more information boards, bins and pathways, which people are taking to get in and out of the estate as well. I really love this. This brings us to the maintenance area, expanded out with keys and concrete surface, service vehicles, extra container props, with different fence barriers around. So just a really simple expansion of the park maintenance depot. Essentially ties in with the port, you know. This is admin and maintenance of keeping this incredibly old, historically important estate from, you know, its electrics burning it down and changing the oil lamps, etc. You can imagine the vibe over here, can't you? And I'm really happy with it. Seaside Resorts is also such a unique pack to play with. There's nothing else that really feels like it. And it can be quite versatile. These assets will work on like old school high streets. Like we put some over in Great's Head, didn't we? As a point to that, you know? You know, like as themed as they are, they can be quite a versatile pack. It was a surprise to be sure, a welcome one. The Seaside Resorts pack. This, all the busy shipping lanes, cargo and containers also coming down here as well now. Bet this looks pretty cool from over on the beach here, doesn't it? Should we watch one of the ships past the downtown? Wait for that cargo ship to go by. Isn't that cool? Isn't Illium massive? We're in a very special point of the playthrough now where a good chunk of the city's done. Like there's 90,000 people just moving around here and going to work and just living in this city. So, honestly, I think I said it a few episodes ago. There's very few gaming experiences that bring what endgame city skylines can do, I think. And it's an awful lot of fun. Not that we are at the end game exactly just yet. But either way, guys, I will leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching. A huge shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that bankroll these videos. With a roll call to our golden patron eggs: Casino, Spartan Angel, Michael W, Wolfo, Sebastian, Phoenix MD, Jamin, Great C, Brizzy, Sean, Trevor Larson, and John Mittak. Thank you so much indeed for all of your incredible support. And also a quick shout out to the rest of you as well. Thank you for all the overwhelmingly positive support on the Project Zomboid Noobs Guide. It's so nice to see you guys respond so kindly to a series that isn't City Skylines. It makes my job significantly more enjoyable. So big thank you for that. Check out the series if you haven't already. Lots of people are enjoying it over on the channel. Either way, hang around for the cinematics and I'll see you next week. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.